Hey everybody, welcome to the Paula Peralta Show. I'm Paula Peralta, and this is a show where I bring on people that I love to talk about whatever we talk about, because there's never a script. So today I am joined by someone who I absolutely adore. I feel like I would describe you as totally ineffable. Like, there are no words, but every time we're together, we have such a good time, and there's a lot of laughter and a lot of really great conversations, and we do this awesome thing where we skew from, like, these super serious topics to, like, these, like, totally superfluous, like, things, like, beauty, I don't know, things, and then we go back into these, like, really great conversations. So, please welcome to the Paula Peralta Show, Kristin, Chirico.
Hello! I don't know what the word ineffable means.
It means, like, there are no words to describe you.
Well, I learned something new today.
Like, but in the best way.
Okay.
In the best way.
I love that for me.
I know. Okay, so I don't even know, like, I mean, I would just describe you as, like, a creative, an artist. Like, how do you, like, a YouTuber, a comedian, like...
Yes, so I am, my name is Kristin Chirico. I am a YouTuber, a comedian, a writer.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
And also just, like, a brilliant boss babe, like, in all the ways.
That's really sweet.
You're very smart. I learn something every time we talk.
Really?
Yes, every time I'm like, oh, I never thought of that way. And yeah, always.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you taught me what a word meant already, so you already won up on me.
Listen, it's a give and receive, gifting and receiving this relationship. Okay, so yes, YouTube, but I want to actually talk about, I don't know if, tell me about stand-up, because you're a comedian, but I also know you recently started stand-up classes. In fact, I know for a fact you were in one last night. Yeah. But tell me about that choice to go into, like, stand-up specifically. Like, how did that happen?
So it's something I've been meaning to try for a long time. Uh-huh. And I think, like, after I quit BuzzFeed, I was like, okay, now what do I do? Uh-huh. And I felt, like, very directionless for a while. Yeah. And, like, the problem with doing stand-up is I tried it in my early 20s. And when I performed on stage, it felt like I was drowning. Mm. Even when I wasn't doing bad, I felt like I was dying. Mm-hmm. And so for me, for a long time, stand-up kind of felt like, you know, it's like you know when you're a smoker, okay? And you kind of get to the point where it's like, you know, you only feel good when you have a cigarette. But it's like, if you never start smoking, you never have that problem. Yeah. So it was like the best case scenario for me on stage is that, like, we're not going with this metaphor. Let me start this over. So,
no, I love it, because actually, were you a smoker at any point?
No,
me either. So I love that you went with
so
this.
hard. Listen, I tried to be a smoker in college. When I was a freshman, I was just like, I'm gonna be, because when you're a theater kid, being a smoker is the easiest way to make friends.
Oh yeah, true. It's like a social thing.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes, and I hated it, and it was like, this sucks. This sucks. I don't have any money, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta come up with something else to get attention. So. But yeah, I think, like, for me, it was stand-up. I always felt like I was drowning, and it was like, best case scenario, I was treading water, but I wasn't having a good time treading water. Yeah. And so it was like,
you, like, thought you were dying.
Yeah.
You were seconds away from dying every time.
Yes. So it was like, why am I putting myself in a situation where best case scenario, I'm surviving? And so I just didn't do it, because I didn't understand that the only way to not get that feeling is to do it more than, like, 3 times.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a metaphor for life. Like, life lessons with Kristin Chirico today.
It's like, it turns out, if you want to not feel like you want to die doing something, you have to do it more than a handful of times. I know, it's wild, but yeah, that's so... I basically, what happened was, I think, during the pandemic, I was like, I don't know what to do with my life, because, like, no one did. Yeah. Like, I'm not special. Yeah. But...
people were planting gardens, and you were trying to determine your future.
I was like, what do I do? Because I quit BuzzFeed, and I know, you know, I'd been honing these on-camera skills for, like, a while, and it was like, what can I do with this? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know. And then... literally in March, a friend of mine was like, I'm going to do a stand-up class if you want to do one with me.
That's amazing.
And then she didn't do it with me.
So, isn't that always how it goes, though? That's how it always goes. Is that you're like, okay, it's like the thing that's so hard for you, and you finally have your support, and then they're like, sorry, and you're like, and then you have to, like, double down and be like, all right.
I know, she's doing it in August, but I was just like, you know what, I'm not waiting. I'm just going to, I think I was drunk at Disneyland. I was just like, you know what, screw it. It's fine. So then
like when all your best life choices happen.
Yes. When literally every life choice I make happens. I got engaged at Disneyland while drunk.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Disney World. Sorry.
Yeah,
Talking about
gotta be specific.
the park in Florida, not the park in California.
Those Disney heads will come for you if you misname either park.
Yes, I know, because I'm one of them. I'll have to join my own, like, picket. Yeah, so I started a class in March, and then I performed for the first time for, like, a big audience in May, and, like, as I tell all my friends, unfortunately, it went really well.
Because that was the one that was sold out, right?
Yes.
Like, I remember that show. Like,
yes. Yeah. It went really, it was like, you all had the opportunity to keep me from pursuing this, and you messed it up.
You failed.
Turns
at
stopping me.
I'm amazing.
Yeah, it was like, you had the chance to make me not want to do this anymore, and you whiffed it. So now it's going to become half my personality.
Okay, but yeah. Let's keep going, because I actually love this. The idea of stand-up for me has always been really interesting, because while I don't personally do it, I am close to a lot of people that do, and like the intelligence and the like quickness that you have to be, I think, in order to like read the room, but also like tell your story, but then also like pace it correctly, but then also like there's like so many things that you're thinking of at the same time. It's wild.
You know, it's like, I think I got really lucky because a lot of these skills I've been honing for years.
Yeah.
Like, I think before I was like, I hadn't spent like all my time on camera. It was like, I felt like I was drowning. Yeah. But now I do this like literally every day. Yeah. So it's just a matter of writing. So like, I think that's why this time it's like, this dog is so crazy.
I know. De Niro, should we just let him out of the... So De Niro's currently, you've seen him on camera, but he's currently in a kennel because we thought like, oh, he's done this thing where he runs and jumps up on me. And so we might just like take him out because he's being so loud. And
he's such a goofy.
He is so...
This dog. I know we're getting off topic, but
yeah, sorry. Anyway.
But yeah, I think like, and you know, to be clear, I've been doing stand-up for 5 months, so like I am not the world's foremost experience. Like I don't.
No, but you've done it, which is more than I am. I've never done it.
Like so. But yeah, I think like I'm. It's easier for me this time because I had done other things that sort of helped with that. Because like, I didn't have the confidence to do this even 8 years ago, even 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that like now, you know, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage of me online doing, you know, whatever. It's like, how much worse could it get? It's like, it's just not, you know.
Like, you're like, really, the low risk here.
It's really low risk. It's like, at this point, I'm just kind of adding, you know, I'm throwing water into the ocean. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, I mean, I discovered I really loved it, and I discovered that I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I have a lot has happened to me, even in the last 2 years. A lot has happened to me, and so at some point you have to stop telling stories to just your friends and tell them to other people.
The world.
Literally, my best Jen, who I run my channel with, who's like my best friend, she literally, it's gotten to the point where like I'll tell her a story and she'll be like,
because she's already heard it.
Yeah, because she's already heard it probably 6 or 7 times. And I'm just like, just tell me if you've heard the story, because I don't remember. And so, like, doing stand-up sort of eliminates that problem. Because I have a new series of people to tell my stories to.
For the very first time.
Yeah, for the very first time. So it's win-win for everyone.
It's like the perfect situation, basically. That's so good. Okay, let's go back, because we met, we met actually at VidCon. Do you remember this? Okay.
Yes.
And so at that point, you were still with BuzzFeed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you may not know. So I don't know. Is BuzzFeed still around?
Well, I think so. But
Kristin left and they fell apart. Are we allowed to say?
Listen, I left January 2020.
Was it only 2020?
2020.
I feel like it's been so much longer than that.
No, it's January. Well, for me, it feels like I just left. It feels like I left like 10 minutes ago. And it's like, no, I left over 3 years ago. Sorry.
No, it's good. Anyway, let's talk about.
So I left January 2020. And then literally 2 months later, obviously, like, the world changed forever.
I didn't realize that was the timeline for you.
Yeah, and so I left BuzzFeed and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write up. Oh my god. So it's like it's that horrible adage, like, make plans and God laughs. It was just like, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna write a book about being fat, and I'm gonna like sell an unscripted show about travel. And it was like, those are my Being 2020 plans.
Oh, I remember the travel show.
Yes, I was like, I'm gonna sell. Yeah, because I had a show. So I had a Facebook Watch show.
Yeah.
About travel, and I was like, I'm gonna sell another one. And it was like about travel. Ridiculous. And then like March happened. I was like, well, okay. I don't. Neither of those plans are. It was just.
You're like, literally, no one is traveling right now.
No one is traveling. No one is doing anything but worried about this pandemic. So, you know, it just kind of threw everything into the rudderless sea. But anyway, that's not the question you asked. I got way off.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
We met at VidCon. So if you don't know what VidCon is,
you don't know what VidCon is.
You don't know what VidCon is.
It's wild. When we met, that was my first time ever at VidCon. And I was like, what is this? Like, it opened my eyes to a whole other world of like, it's basically, we should probably tell people, or just we could let is this part of your stand-up? You just let it build it up?
I could build it up. Listen, I haven't talked about VidCon in my stand-up, but maybe I should.
1000% you should.
VidCon is just like, I know. Listen, I'm never gonna get invited to VidCon again after this, but like that's fine. We were invited this year and we didn't go because I didn't want to. So VidCon is, in case you don't know, basically like Comic-Con, but for YouTubers and to TikTokers as well. I think it's like TikTokers are sort of a recent thing. I don't really know. I haven't been to VidCon in a couple years.
I haven't been since.
So I don't know like what the composition of YouTubers versus TikTokers is. But basically online digital creators who show their faces. Is what
all in the same room at the same time.
At the same time. And so a bunch of them in like of every variety you could imagine. So they all come, they get put up in this hotel in Anaheim, which like it's a secret hotel, but it's always the Hyatt, so like it's not really, it's like it's been a secret hotel for like 7 years. Like it's a secret hotel. There are like mountains of kids outside of it who's like, oh, I wonder what hotel this is. But they all get put into this Hyatt in Anaheim, and the Anaheim Convention Center hosts it. And so, but basically VidCon is a way to sell advertising to people who like video creators. And then they offer you access to those creators. So like video creators do panels and they do meet and greets and like that's kind of it. Those are the two things.
But but there's always these like, and it was really interesting because I worked with a few creators on that, like during that run at that VidCon, and it's wild like the amount of stress that people are under.
Yeah, I mean the people
but it makes sense if you feel like it's like a draft pick sort of thing, right? Like where people are coming to watch you to see if they want to invest in whatever content you're creating. So
the thing is like, and then also like some creators perform and like, you know, it's like a whole, it's a big circus. It's like, but also like there's a lot of business stuff too.
Totally. It's like I saw it as a networking event. But but hearing you talk about it as a creator attending, I'm like, oh, that actually makes more sense.
Yeah, it is like it is a networking event for us too because we can meet other creators, like people we might want to like collaborate with, and you know, I think that I believe we signed with our first agents there too. Oh, yeah, because like agents, like all the major agencies usually reserve like conference rooms to like talk to creators they want to sign, and like, you know, it's a, you know, you meet brands you might want to interact with and like stuff like that, and like. It's a big business thing. I mean, there's different sides of it. There's like kind of the business part of it, which is creators talking to brands, talking to agents, talking to studios, talking to like whoever. And then there's sort of fans wanting to interact with creators.
Totally.
So like you're sort of, if you're going as a creator, you're sort of like, you're feeding two mouths at the same time. You're sort of trying to do business stuff, but you're also trying to like serve like the fans that have actually paid to be there. Because like, you know, you do like a meet and greet with 250 people. They all want to see you. They've all paid money to see you.
I forgot that people buy tickets.
Yes. It's actually like, it's why, I mean, maybe, I might do VidCon in the future. It's why we...
I know. VidCon.
I might
see you.
We might do it in the future.
I'll let you girls.
I know. It's not, because the thing is, here's the thing. my dirty secret is that I think VidCon is fun. Is it a mess? Yes. I think it's kind of a fun mess.
It's amazing.
I have so much fun there. It's mostly the parties are really fun. The parties are super fun. And I don't know if that opinion is necessarily shared by everyone I know. But I think VidCon is fun. It's a fun and it's a mess. But
it's really interesting, and I think you start to see, for me, like going to VidCon, even just as a going as a hairdresser and working with the artists, I saw a huge cross section of like YouTubers and TikTokers and the like Vine kids that then moved over to TikTok. Like I learned a lot about kind of the back end of content creation in terms of like the strategy, which I think was really interesting. And I think like I always think networking events are really interesting no matter how big or small, because you meet like that one person more often than not that like kind of changes the
exactly. It's
the game.
The best way I can describe VidCon, it's like, what if there was like a networking sleepaway camp?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what if we went to networking summer camp? And then like, we met with our friends, and we also met with some brands, and we also met with some fans, and it's just kind of like because there's a whole schedule too.
Totally. Well, and I think so by the way, in case you didn't know, this podcast is sponsored by Vagaro, which is the booking app that I use. And they have an event coming up called Iconic 23, and it's in San Diego in September. And by the way, click the link, Paula P is your code, you get $100 off. But the thing about it is it's the same thing where like those sort of networking events, there's part of you that's like, ooh, but then there's also part of you that's like, but it just takes that one connection to like that can open up a whole world of possibilities that you didn't even know existed.
Yes, it's true. Like I mean, I've met some great people at VidCon. I've had some good times at VidCon. I've had some of the worst times of my life at VidCon. But like that's not VidCon's fault. That's on Kristin. That's Kristin's choices. Like the parties at VidCon are silly. I remember one year. So the big party at VidCon for like the creators and the brands is the Studio 71 party.
Okay.
So the studio, I don't know if you know about this.
I think I got someone ready for it.
So the Studio 70, it's the Studio 71 party. It's the big party. Every year it's a big to-do because like all the creators are trying to make sure they got their invitation to the Studio 71 party, which is like silly. I personally, listen, this is my personal plea, Studio 71, just invite all the creators from the beginning. If you don't already do it, just do it. It's so stressful. Everyone spends like all of Friday stressed out about this. You can help. You can make a difference. Just invite them all and give them all +1 and be done with it. Anyway, it's a huge thing. And then like you have to pick up your wristbands, and then it's like, and then there's like an upstairs, so it's like who's allowed in the VIP area and who's not allowed in the VIP area. It's a whole thing. It's at the House of Blues every year, and they're like, it's in a secret location. It's at the House of Blues. It's not, and there are like hundreds of people who go. It's not subtle. I have a side story about this in a second. But anyway, so one year, I want to say it was like, I forgot what year it was. It was like maybe the last year Quinta Brunson went with us. But like,
wait, was Quinta Brunson with BuzzFeed too?
Yeah.
I just saw her at the Met Gala. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's how
she got.
Yeah. I mean, listen, she does like a lot of things. Like,
she's amazing.
I wouldn't say it's how she got her start because like she's done like so many things, but like it is one of the foundational things she did.
Oh.
But yeah,
she was like in that crew with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like that year, like this was back when the Studio 71 party was more of a mess, and it was just like we were just like, why don't we go to this? I don't even know what party we were at before that. We were at like a different hotel party. And the problem with all the parties is that all of the kids who go to VidCon know about where the parties are. And so they like stake out outside the parties, like hoping to get like, so like I remember Jen and I were sitting like by this pool, and like there were these like two kids being like, hi, like through like a fence. And we were just like you kind of feel like zoo animals where it's like, hey, we're trying to smoke weed behind the pool, but we can't in front of you. But anyway, so Quinta was just like, we're going to the Studio 71 party. So we all get in like this van, and we're like, we think we're being sneaky. We're like, we're going to go through the parking garage. We're going to sneak behind so none of the kids see us. And then we go through the parking garage. We get dropped off in the parking garage. We're like, we did it. Yeah, high five. And we step out onto like the big open space in front of the club. And, like, we open these doors, And it was like, you know, in the zombie movie,
yes,
when like the heroes think that they've escaped,
and then they open the doors.
all they open the doors, and there's like hundreds of zombies who all turn around at the same time. That was us, but it was like 17-year-olds, and we were just like, oh, fuck. And all the kids start like coming towards us at the same time. We're just like, we gotta go. We gotta go around you. And so like we hid out in a Red Robin bathroom. And then like Quinta went and like found someone and like fished us out of the red. Sorry, the mic. Quinta went and like found someone, Cassie, I believe, yeah, who used to work for Studio 71, who's now a manager. Yes, I'm so excited to remember that name. Found Cassie, fished us out of the Red Robin, and got us into the party. And we were just like, you know, this would have been prevented if we'd all just been invited on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Mess.
Wait, okay, so I know we're jumping around, but
Yeah.
I feel like people need to know about this. So, can you talk a little bit about what you did at BuzzFeed?
Yes. So I did like a lot of things at BuzzFeed. I had several different jobs.
Yeah, and BuzzFeed was like major it was like kind of at the height, right?
Yeah.
When you were
BuzzFeed
there.
was like a really, I mean, like there was a time where internally, I think people talked about it like this is like the new SNL.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where digital creators come to get to like launch and become like who they are, and like it's like a talent finding factory.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly think that was definitely the case for a long time, and it could have been the case for much longer. Mm-hmm. And that's all I'll say about that. But I had a lot of jobs there. I started out as a writer. Mm-hmm. I started out as a writer, and then I was like briefly a manager, and I like did not like that. And then I think how did this happen? Oh, I was in an article where it was like a bunch of women trying on one size fits all clothing.
That's right.
And
I remember that.
I was a replacement. I was asked to be like a part of it because like they needed someone who was like fat and short. Because I had like Sheridan Watson, who's a TV writer now, is tall and like statuesque and fat, but they wanted someone who was like short and fat, and I was like, that's me. So then I did it, and then like I like wrote like a bunch of like quippy one-liners about like all of my experiences trying on the clothes, and the article was a huge hit. It was like a big hit, and I was like, oh, I should do this with other things. So then I started writing projects where I was like doing experiential stuff. Like I got fitted for a bra at like a bunch of different stores, and like, you know, and then they all started doing well. And then I kind of like developed a brand from that. Yeah. And then I started doing the video versions of that. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of eventually stopped writing the articles and just started making videos about it because I didn't want to write the articles about it. And then in like 2015, they were trying to come up with like a girl version of the Try Guys, but like not the Try Guys. Yeah. And like, so there was a show called Ladylike that was being developed.
That's right.
And I was like, my boss was just like, my boss, who was a really good advocate for me, was just like, I think Kristin should be a part of this. And then there was a video guy who was like, basically two men decided I needed to be on the show. Two men just kind of like
shall be done.
plunked me down on the show. So then I did like one episode of it, flew to Disney World, got engaged, came back. Then it was a project that like they weren't like super invested in for a while, but like I would come back and do like videos every so often. Like I think there was one that I produced, and then it kind of started getting popular, and then like Lady like kind of became like its own show, and then it became its own team, and then it became like a big thing. So I was basically, most people know me from a show on BuzzFeed called Ladylike. Yeah. And then we did that for I guess from end of 2015 to whenever it is I quit. So end of 2019. Yeah. I was the last person from Ladylike to quit. So I would say end of 2019. I think we filmed our last one. Wow. So 4 years.
It's a lot of content.
We did a lot. We went to Kenya. Like
what?
Did I tell you this?
No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. First of all, the first travel shoot I've ever done was go to Kenya. Like the double black diamond of travel shoots. because like it for a couple reasons. The flight takes you it's a 20-hour flight, and there's no clear time to sleep on the plane because time zone wise, you show up at such a bizarre time. It's like we flew out at 2 p.m. and we got there at 2 a.m, but it was daylight the whole time because we flew to Amsterdam and then we flew south.
Oh yeah.
So it was just like it was never night. It was just day for like 24 hours for us.
See, for my travel, like that doesn't even affect me because I got my eye mask, I got my melatonin, I got my blanket, my pill. I'm like,
oh, you're so good at sleeping on planes.
I'm so good at it. I'm calculating. I'm like, okay, so if I want to get on Kenya time because I'm going to Kenya, then I need to start sleeping at this time. Oh, it's a whole thing.
It's like tough, and plus like there's not that for that reason, and also because cell service because we drove through Kenya. We drove through Kenya, which is like one of the most beautiful drives I've ever done in my entire life. There was no cell service. Oh, so there's really nothing to do for like 16 hours except gossip, which we ran out of that real fast. It was like talk shit and contemplate your life choices, which like after hour 4 of contemplating your life choices, you're just like, maybe my life choices aren't so good. We did so many things. We did a video with Cirque du Soleil. We did a video
in Kenya.
No.
Oh.
No, in Kenya. No. We did in Kenya. We went to the Sheldrick Trust Elephant Sanctuary, which is basically a baby elephant orphanage, and we got to play with and interact with the baby elephants.
Did you cry?
Yes, it's amazing. I mean, like when I say play with, it's kind of hard to. It's like, can you really play with like a really small truck? Can one play with a boulder? It's like you can't. Playing is kind of doing a lot of work here, but like it's like the baby elephants come and like they're super social. Like, they really want to interact, and like they, it's good for them to interact with like others and like get like positive touch and stuff like that. But they roll basically like you show up and like it's feeding time, and like the herd of like little rocks come like tumbling, little boulders come tumbling down the hill, and like they're like little puppy rocks where they're just like, hi, I'm your friend, but also I could kill you. They're like, oh my god, it was
that's
amazing. Yeah. We went on safari, which like safari is really fun. We drove from Nairobi to Mombasa. And we stayed in a place called Diani Beach, which is like a resort town, and like we got to like we basically jumped. We landed in Nairobi and we drove to the Indian Ocean, which was awesome.
I'm gonna sound like a total idiot right now, but I forgot that the Indian Ocean even existed.
It does. It's still there. You can still go to it if you want to.
Maybe I will. I'm gonna book flight to Kenya.
The Indian Ocean is beautiful. It is blue. It is warm. It is awesome. At least to the part that we went to. Maybe I'm sure not the whole thing, but like, I mean, what else did we do in Ladylike? Honestly, I forget all the things that we did. Like, all videos will pop up, and I'm like, I have no memory of that. I'm sure that was fun, but
what was that like then? 4 years of just like pumping out content with Ladylike? Because I mean, how often were you were dropping videos pretty often?
Twice a week. We were dropping videos twice a week, which was not. It was not sustainable. It was too much. I think for a while it was like, if you have like a lot of people helping you, dropping 2 videos a week is something you can do.
Yeah. The
problem was like, BuzzFeed kind of just kept like taking away from us, and it was just like it kind of, we had to do more with less. But they wanted like the same stuff, but they didn't want to give us the same resources. Yeah. And when we would point that out, they would get upset with us. It was not. I'm trying to find a way to say this in a.
Well, I mean, you said it's not sustainable.
It was not sustainable. Yeah. It was not sustainable. It was not fun. It was exhausting. I mean, I talk about this on our channel. Yeah. I've mentioned that, like, the last, 6 months before I quit, my therapist basically, sat me down and was like, you have to take a month off. And I was like, why? First of all, that's not possible. I'm prepping a show for Facebook Watch right now. That's not going to happen. And she's like, if you don't take a month off, you will not have a choice in the matter. Like, you're not gonna make it. And I was like, I appreciate this, but like, there's nothing I can do about it. Like, we just closed on like a huge show. I produced 8 episodes. First of all, I produced 8 episodes of a TV show for a budget of $100,000. I don't know how I did that. That was ridiculous. I'm never doing that again. Don't come to me and be like, make me a show for $100,000, so I won't do it. So it's not gonna happen. But yeah. So like I was like, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? And then I had like basically like I don't know if I had a nervous breakdown. I had a breakdown like while we were in Greece shooting. Like, and by breakdown I mean like I couldn't stop having panic attacks. I kept like almost passing out. I couldn't stand. Like I was so nauseous. I basically my body like just gave up. Like there's a sequence during the show, during I think the Grease episode when I'm trying on clothes, in between takes, like I'm being like held up by our production coordinator, like, so, like it was like in between takes I had to like just, I thought I was gonna have to be airlifted out of Grease. I didn't think I was gonna make it. And you know what's really annoying is that's the best episode of the show. It's so dumb. It's like. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, and I think, like, I talk about this, but what made me so angry is that, like, everyone around me knew what I was working on and what I was doing, but no one around me was particularly concerned with how it was going for me physically. Everyone was like, oh, it's fine. Like, there was no one around who was able to kind of be like, this is not a good, like, Kristin's gonna lose it. Because, like, no one cared. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be frank. No one cared.
Well, and I think it's like, there's so many layers to this because, I mean, as someone that's like, obviously a high producer in a lot of ways, like, and I mean, I can kind of relate to that, but I think, did you feel like you couldn't, like, you felt like you couldn't stop? I mean, you said you talked to your therapist and you're like, there's just no world.
There's just no time. Yeah. There's no world. I literally went to HR and I told them like, so I've been told like by my doctor, they're like, I've got to take time. And the HR person I talked to, who was super nice, was just like, yeah, okay, let's find a way to make it work. And I think she quit like 3 weeks later. Because like, it was just,
they were like, there is no world where Kristin can stop.
Well, there just isn't. And it's just like, so people knew what I was doing. They knew I was struggling. There were no guardrails. There was no like, oh, hey, maybe we're driving. Maybe we're going to put this person in danger. Yeah. And it's like, you know what it's like what you, sometimes it's hard to be like, I have to stop because
you can't.
Because I've been going for this long.
Well, and you're like, spinning so many plates and like, momentum is a huge part of creation. Yeah. Like,
and like, but people don't understand is that like producing videos and also being in a video is a tremendous energy suck. Yep. The best way I can describe it, it's like, imagine your car being powered by nitrous and you just go for like an hour. And then like afterwards, it's just like, please do not talk to me for like 5 hours. Yeah. Because I've used all of my energy. I feel so seen. Yes. It's just, and that's what was hard to communicate to people who were in leadership.
Well, and I think it's hard because like being like gregarious and bubbly and talkative and all of those things are like natural. They're like natural characteristics, right? Like like being chatty and like being able to have a conversation like this, it comes naturally to us. Yeah. So people think that it comes naturally to us all the time. Yeah. And that they can put a camera on you for 24 hours.
And you'll just be like
and that you're going to maintain this level of like, yeah. And I'm like, no, that's not how, like, I need time to be, like, starfish naked on my bed to just, like, not talk to anybody and, you know.
You
like,
need time to recharge your batteries.
Totally.
Like, it's like
it's like a cell phone.
Yes. Yes.
You use it. Use it all the way you want to use it. Open all the apps. But, like, at some point, you got to plug it in and just let it recharge.
Exactly. And, like, I think by summer of 2019, I'd reached a point where I could not be recharged. I think I just needed a new battery. Like, the old battery.
Just throw the whole thing away.
It was, like, not recoverable. But, yeah.
Okay, yes. I know, I do want to talk about this, and I'm curious if there's anything where you're just like, let's not, then.
No, go for it.
I feel like.
Go bananas.
Bananas. It's just a little OCD moment. I'm going to tuck that away because it's not supposed to be on the table. Anyway, so people talk, there's a lot of talk right now about burnout.
Yeah.
And people talk about, like, take time for self-care and make sure, you know, whatever, like taking, like rest, right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I kind of like have some resistance come up every time I see it, because the thing about burnout is you don't avoid burnout by resting. You actually avoid burnout by changing like the behavior.
Man, yeah.
And I think like that's like a conversation that not enough people are having, because and I, to some extent, and I obviously not to like discount your experience, but I can relate to where like you're juggling all these things, like so many things are going well, so you got to capitalize on that, and you feel like you got to like, you know, engage and connect and do all these things and keep creating, and then what's next and how are you reinventing yourself? But like the thing about that is when you're functioning at that high level, it's not just about getting 8 hours of sleep. No. Like it's not about resting. It's exactly what you said. Like there needs to be people around you that are like, hey, like, we need to space this out so that you have, yes, maybe it's 8 days of shooting, but let's make sure that it's two hard days of shooting and then maybe you have 2 days off. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like people that can be around you to help manage things, I think is so important. And like, I can't overstate enough the importance of having people that are just like supportive.
Yes.
But supportive in a way that they're willing to handle some of the hard things, because it's hard to create and then also have to be like, and I need to take care of myself and let me put these bump stops in place so that I don't run off the rails. Like it's so, anyway, do you have anything to like add to that?
I would say the thing about burnout, unfortunately, is that sometimes you're burned out because you don't like what you're doing.
Yes.
And
facts.
That can't be fixed. Mm-mm. That can't, and
it needs to be changed.
Yeah, it needs to be changed. Like, it fundamentally needs to be changed. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think, like, when we started our new channel, Jen and I, I have a channel called The Kitchen and Jordan Show.
Yes!
And Jen is my business partner, and she is a delight, and I like her so much, and that's why we started a business together. But when we started the channel, we kind of sat down, and we were like, okay, so we narrowly escaped with our lives. So let's not do that again. And it was like, let's talk about like what we're going to do different. And we kind of like set some ground rules where we were like, if either of us doesn't want to do this anymore, we stop. If either of us is feeling like emotionally like distraught or burned out, we don't push through it and shoot anyway. We only release once a week, which like the difference between once a week and twice a week release schedule wise is like the difference between having one child and 2 children. It's monumental. But we were like, we're not gonna do videos that make us uncomfortable just because we think that they'll get clicks. Like, and so I think like all those things helped. There are some days where like Jen will show up at my house and be like, I don't think we can do this today, and it's like, okay, then we don't do it. Like, you know, it's like we're only supporting the 2 of us. So it's like, and we're not trying to like generate profits for a company. So it's like, if we don't shoot that day, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Whereas at BuzzFeed, it was like, if we don't have a release, it's like, we're going to have like 5 meetings about it. And like the meetings are all going to be like, why don't you have the release? And it's going to be like, because I'm dead. I don't know what you want from me. So, you know, because we have no one to answer to but ourselves. Yeah. It helps a lot. Working for myself changed my life. And I know it's, exactly. And I know it's not an option for everyone, but it was the only option for me. I don't think I could ever go back. Like, geez Louise. It's a life changer. Okay.
Well, and I want to be clear about that, because I think like, yes, there is a degree of privilege associated with it.
Absolutely.
And also I will tell you, and the world, that I was really broke for a really long time when I started working for myself. Yeah. So I think like that's the thing, is it's like pick your hard. Yes. Because you can either hate your life working for a company that's not supporting you, or that, you know, you don't align with, that then takes a toll on your mental health, or you can be like, all right, I need to make some like financial shifts for a minute so that I can like keep, you know, and maybe you have to hustle a little bit more, whatever that looks like. There are, for me, that was the choice. Like I could pick my hard. Like I can walk away from the money, but have my mental health and like feel good about how I'm showing up in the world, or I can, you know.
To that note, I should note, like, there's a lot of privilege there. Like, when I left BuzzFeed, I had a little bit of savings, which is wild because I'd never had savings in my life. I had a little bit of savings, and I also have a spouse who makes more money than me and has health insurance that I can be on, and like that made a huge difference
For sure.
And like that wasn't always the case. Like we've known each other for like almost 11 years now. Like so it's we've definitely grown together. So it's like it's not like this person plucked me out of obscurity. It's like I'm gonna support you. It's just but it's like having a stable spouse helped me too. So it's like I'm aware of the fact that like I was in a good position to be able to do this. And but
you had also worked so hard to get to the, you know what I mean? To get to the point where you had to make the choice like for your mental health, but also like you worked really hard to get to the point to have any level of privilege or savings or anything like that.
They tried to get me to stay when I quit.
Really?
They tried to get me to stay, and I was just like, absolutely not. And what's so funny is that like they tried to get me to stay, but they would have just laid me off like a year or 2 years later.
Really?
I don't know why I'm whispering. Everyone can hear me. But like
it's the dramatic.
It's a secret. Yeah. They would have laid me. They would have laid me off like within 2 years. It's like they would have been like, please stay, and then they would have like broken my heart. So it's like sometimes you got to dump them first.
Oh my gosh, that's so okay. So then, so you leave BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
I love where this whole conversation, the meandering path. So you leave BuzzFeed and you were gonna start your travel show.
Yes.
And then
I was like, I'm gonna pitch a. Well, I thought I was gonna do a second season of Empty Suitcase, which was my travel show for Facebook Watch.
Yeah.
And actually, for a second there, it was. Can I have? I don't care. I didn't sign an NDA. I don't care. Facebook wanted a second season. But like we just couldn't make it because it was like first of all, even if I could travel, it's like nothing's open. No one wants to see people travel during the pandemic. So so that didn't happen. But I was gonna do that, and then I was gonna write a book about like I think like being fat, which like I didn't really want to, but I was like I don't know what else to write about.
A couple people did that though. I feel like during the pandemic.
And that's the thing is that lots of people. I think a lot of people have written books about fatness that are going to be better than any book I would write about fatness. I don't think the book I write about fatness would be particularly more insightful than that. And so it's like, I don't have anything to add to that conversation. So I'm kind of glad that book will probably never, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe 10 years it will, but like it probably will never see the light of day. But those were my big plans, and then those plans got like shot out of a cannon.
Totally. So when did you launch Kitchen and Jorn?
So we launched October 2020.
Okay.
We decided before we left BuzzFeed, we kind of decided to start a channel together, and then in January 2020, we were like, okay, we should start a channel together, and then we were gonna launch in April. And then we were like, okay, I guess we're not launching in April. And then I think like in July of 2020, maybe even before that, we were both just like, we are going to lose it if we can't work on something.
Yeah.
So then we formed a pandemic bubble. So it was me, which was tough. It was me, Jen's roommate, and my wife. And like, that was it. And it was like really, it was hard because like, well, especially for Jen's roommate, because she's in a pandemic bubble with like 3 people she doesn't know. So it's like, it was really, sorry. Hey, Abigail. Thanks for doing that. we appreciate it. Sorry. Thank you. You were the best. You're a real one. Thank you. But Abigail's great. But, yeah, so we had a pandemic bubble, and that got us through, because otherwise, like, I mean, I think I talked to Jen in, I want to say June, where I was like, man, the suicidal ideation is really turned up a lot, and I feel like, because you have to imagine, like, you remember what it was like then. We had no idea when anything was going to get better. We and it was just like, it's just going to be our lives forever. We're going to be locked in our homes. Yeah. So I was like, we have to work on something. So I honestly, working on the channel in like the summer and the fall of 2020, saved me. Because it was like, I was so grateful to make YouTube videos again. I was like, oh my God. Perspective. Oh, it was like a gift. It was a gift. Every time Jen came over, it was like a third person. Yeah. And like, and we told ourselves that we were going to do the channel for a year. And if the channel wasn't profitable in a year, then we were going to abandon it. And we broke even in like 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And we were like, oh. We also discovered that like BuzzFeed had kind of lied to us about how much our videos were making.
Of course.
Like a lot. And we thought that it was impossible to kind of make a living as creators with like a modest like view count. And that is not true.
Okay, but also let's be fair, because modest view count. I checked your channel the other day and you've got like over 500,000 followers.
Yeah, but like that's like not. But here's the thing though, you look at someone like Mr. Beast who has like tens of millions of followers. Like, I would say I am a solidly middle class YouTuber. I am a run of the mill middle class YouTuber where like it's like I don't, I live like a normal person.
Yeah.
But I make all my money from YouTube and to a lesser extent, Instagram ads. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we didn't think that was possible. We were kind of told more or less explicitly that it's like, well, you guys can leave, but good luck out there. Mm-mm. And so we carried that with us for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. And it was really difficult to kind of take the leap towards a future where like we were kind of responsible for our own stuff. And then we found out that like actually it was not as hard as like I think I was like, oh my God, we're gonna struggle for a whole year and like we're not gonna be able to pull a salary and it's gonna be really hard, and like we broke even in 2 weeks, and then we were like, oh, maybe we were lied to.
Could it be that we did not have all the information?
Perhaps, but then we got the information and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously this show is on YouTube now as well.
Yes.
We just launched it yesterday with my
125
subscribers, which I'm really excited about.
Listen, the first 1,000 are the hardest.
And then,
well, the first.
That's my goal. I really would love. I said by the end of the weekend, it didn't happen. I wanted 1,000. I was like, let me get 1,000 in 2 days.
That's tough. And
then I was like, okay, maybe by the end of the month.
That's like tough. I would say the first. Well, actually, that's not true. The first 10,000 are the hardest. Mm-hmm. The first 10,000. Once you get to 10,000, it's a little bit easier to grow from there. Yeah. But like it's I
think that's true in like a lot of
a
lot of social channels.
Like YouTube doesn't have an invested interest in this, right? Mm-hmm. The best way to promote your YouTube videos is to make TikToks, which I know to be true, but I still don't do it. I understand, and I've seen this work because I have done it before, and I'm like, wow, this was a great success for us. Can't wait to not do that again. But it's true. Like, you make TikToks and like that's how people grow. TikTok is like,
it's wild.
It is phenomenally how easy it is to grow. We talk about this. Like TikTok, it's like every person is like 1 or 2 viral TikToks away from like launching their TikTok. Like, that's how easy it is. Whereas YouTube's much harder. You have to grow, because like the YouTube audience has to want to stick with you, and so you have to grow that over time. But like, you grow a TikTok, you have a couple of viral TikToks, people are like, okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Even as a user. Yeah. Like, it's like I know that to be true.
Yeah, the algorithm, it's really, really good at finding the stuff that people want to watch. Yeah. And then like, it's because this is all kids watch YouTube and TikTok almost exclusively. Yep. And like, which is wild to me. Totally. I did not grow up in that world. Same. And yet I make content for people who do. So it's like, I feel like I'm speaking in a language I don't understand. But I'm doing it fluently. Right. So everyone's confused.
This is like a peek behind what goes on a content creator's head. You're just like, I don't know really what I'm doing, but I just think I'm doing what I'm doing, but I don't really know. But
yes, it's true. A lot of content creation is like, you guys like this? Okay. Yeah. I don't really understand, but
totally. That is so true.
All right. Like, I don't know.
It's so true. Well, it's funny because it changes so dynamically from like day to day, week to week, month to month, where like things that people loved today, like tomorrow they're gonna be like, what is this?
Oh, that's absolutely true.
I know. Well, it's like exhausting. Even because like the majority of my social, and I on a much smaller scale than you, like I'm realizing this because for forever my content was all hair content. Yeah. And then people just were like, meh, and I started posting like some personal stuff like lifestyle, and people loved it
because they want to know, like,
and I was like, what?
They want to know who you. They want to know you.
Yeah.
They want people. Here's the thing, people are nosy.
So
they're nosy.
Chismosos is what we
they're
call
nosy.
them.
People are nosy.
They're so nosy,
and they want to know about others.
Yeah,
and like I think Jonathan Van Ness is a really good example of someone who, is a person first. And then like one great thing about him is that he's also like a good hairstylist. And so it's like that's kind of the, one of the wonderful things about you that you have is that you are a fun, warm, like engaging person to be around who also has like this great skill set. And like if you don't have the first part, the second part doesn't matter. Yeah. For a long time, BuzzFeed tried to make content about beauty and like hair that was like completely divorced from personalities. Yeah. And it flopped terribly.
Yeah. I remember those videos and being like, why don't they just like...
Doesn't work. They tried to make it like tasty content. Yeah. They tried to make, because you can divorce food content from personalities. Totally. Believe it or not. It's not as effective as when they're married, but like you can. You cannot divorce personality from beauty and fashion. You can't. Doesn't work.
So interesting.
Yeah, because people don't want to engage with just like stuff. They want to engage with like, how does that stuff create a person? How does that stuff create a personality that you want to emulate and be around? And it's like, how does that, like we think of this stuff as divorced from what makes us appealing to others. And like, but it's integral to that, which I don't know. I don't ever think of that. We probably understand that it's integral to that, but it's, you can't just be good at your skill. You have to be good at being like a friend and a person that people want to be around.
Like a human.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And I think I understand the psychology of that, but just like, it's interesting when you're creating because there's like this line where if you're trying to create for what you think people want to watch, like it doesn't hit necessarily, but it's like you got to create stuff that you actually that's like genuine and authentic. Like there's this interesting mix, and I feel like only other content creators get this because I think about it a lot. Like if I could go do this thing, whatever it could be, I don't know, bungee jumping, right? But it's like if it's not something that is like Paula would go bungee jumping, like people aren't gonna react to it or they're not gonna like it as much. It is crazy. Like they might, like a random might come across and be like, oh, let's like look at this big girl like bungee jumping, right? But like so there's an element of like maybe, but when you're talking about creating like a lasting conversation or creating sort of a community, I guess for lack of a better word, it is this really interesting space where it has to be real. Like it's so I don't know, and there aren't really words, I feel like, but I know you get it. It's I'm so aware of it.
People have to want to be your friend.
Yes.
People have to want to spend time with you. Spend as much time with you as they do their actual friends.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they will not hang out with you.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about TV shows and movies is that they're full of like, hot people and compelling stories. And like that's, so it's sort of like, I mean, it works, but
because then you're invested.
Yeah, you're invested in the hot people and the compelling story. And so it's like, if you are a real person, your compelling story has to be the compelling story of your life.
Totally.
Or else people aren't going to be invested in you. And like, the thing that's wild is that the compelling story of your life is just the story that everyone else shares with you. And like, that's, there's a reason why YouTube videos about relatable experiences tend to do better about YouTube videos about experiences that like no one has. Where it's like, I went to Area 51. Like, it's not going to be as relatable. It's like, let's say I did a YouTube video. Let's say, if I did, God forbid. Let's say I did, well, I'm not going to say that because there's been YouTubers that have done that. Okay, like, let's say I do a YouTube video about, like, doing, like, a second wedding. If I did a video where I documented the whole process of like, getting remarried to my wife, it would be game-changing for me financially. I cannot tell you how well that series would do. It would be wild, which is something that I have to keep in mind when I make life choices. Because it's like, I cannot just make this life choice because I know that I will make money from it. Mm-hmm. And like, it's really tough because I know that.
Yeah.
I know that if I do, and here's the other thing, my wife is tremendously compelling on camera. Mm-hmm. It's like, she doesn't, for whatever reason, she doesn't think that she is. And I'm just like, every video we do with you kills. Like, you are our like secret weapon. Like, when we need like, because like people just like her because like she's a compelling person. Yeah. This is not the answer to your question.
I saw her, by the way. I was in West Hollywood driving. I saw her driving.
Wait, really?
Like, yeah, but I meant to text you, but I... Whatever.
Wait, real? That's so funny.
But I was like...
What was she doing in West Hollywood? Probably
driving,
being gay. I don't know.
No,
doing
it was
gay
like...
stuff.
It wasn't even... It was like... I was coming down from the Salon Republic, like at the
really?
Like Sunset Plaza. Anyway, it was like the shopping center.
That's
or something.
So funny. What was she doing in WeHo? Now I'm curious.
But it wasn't like fancy WeHo. It wasn't like
it was like
Mickey's
Target.
WeHo. It was it was like that place where there's like the Trader Joe's and the Planet Fitness and the movie theater and all that.
Yeah, it's
maybe
so
she was
funny.
buying furniture. I don't know. CB2.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. We don't have any new furniture, but yeah. Yeah, it's like I know, but yeah, if you see my wife on camera, she doesn't. Yeah. She's like, I don't think people want to see me, and I'm like, I know people want to see you because I can numerically I can tell. Yeah.
You're like, let's talk about the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. People love hearing about you and love hearing about your story.
Yeah, metrics.
Like, yeah, listen. But yeah, it is true. Like I could do. Like, let's say I did a video where I was like, I went to the Met Gala. I don't think that would do as well as here's my second wedding.
Yeah,
isn't that wild? Like,
but okay. So here's my other question.
Yeah.
So when you go to create your other content for your channel, is it something that's like really like you sit down and you like write out ideas? Is it just like, what should we talk about today? Is it like, how do you?
That's no.
It's not scary.
So like, listen. Sometimes we'll pick what we're shooting the day before. Sometimes we have longer videos that like take like right now we're working on a drag video.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
So like that's gonna be like a bigger video. It's gonna take longer to put together. But like, you know, most of the time we will choose what we're gonna shoot the night before or like maybe the day of. And then like we'll go get our foods that we eat and then we'll just talk about them. Like I mean, I feel like this is like I'm bragging about this, but it's like...
Well, but it's also understandable because you've been doing this for so long that it's not like you need weeks of rehearsals in order to turn on the camera and speak to it in a way that is authentic.
It's like, it's just... I'm a professional. I've reached the point where I can just talk.
Yeah.
It's not cost effective for me to write out. And also, even if I wrote out like a script for these videos, it would seem weird. Like, they wouldn't seem natural.
Totally.
And like, yeah, people might now look at this and be like, well, that's because your videos are less interesting. And I can tell because you don't prepare for them. And it's like, guess what? I never prepared for them. I've never prepared for any video you've watched. No videos you've watched have I ever prepped for beyond just I'm in a situation. It's like, but the theme of my content is I seem to have found myself in a situation again. Let's talk about it. So
that's so good. I love it. Okay, so like, what's next for? Like, what are you excited about that you're working on right now?
So right now I'm working on a book. It's not about being fat.
Yeah.
I'm working on a book. It's getting close. It's getting close.
Amazing.
It's like I've been working on this. But I say I'm getting close. I mean, the book itself is not getting close. Like the proposal that I can, the thing that I am.
The theme.
The business part of the book.
Yeah.
Is getting close. With nonfiction books, you sell first, then write. Mm-hmm. And then I'm performing now. Like, I'm just kind of doing... And selling out at these performances, BTW. Listen, one show. Listen, if you want to book me on your show, I will always go on your show. I have 10. at least. Maybe more, maybe less. Who knows? We won't know if I have less until you put me on your show. We'll find out together how many minutes I actually have.
I found myself in a situation.
Unfortunately, I have found myself in another situation.
I feel like that's going to be your second book.
I know.
Like, this is the title of your second book.
That's kind of, if I wrote a book about my time at BuzzFeed, it would be, I found myself in a situation. What do I do? Yeah, that's the thing, is I've lived like 2 books in like the last like 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Like my wife came out as trans, which is going to be it'll be a whole book, but like that experience isn't cooked yet.
Yeah.
It's like the thing they say about writing memoirs and writing essays is like, don't write the thing until you've gone to therapy for the thing.
I mean, makes sense.
Like, because sometimes you'll read
that was a big thing too. I remember like some of the...
You'll read personal essays where it's like, you should have gone to therapy for the thing first. You did this in the wrong order. Nope, because you are processing on the page, and I can tell, and your thoughts are not cooked yet. Yeah.
This is a whole other... But I see that so often with people, like... I mean, where they want to talk about... They want to use their experience in order to whatever, gain a following, connect to the community, whatever it is, and it's like they haven't actually fully finished the thing. Yeah. And you're even going one step further and saying, go to therapy, finish the thing, go to therapy for the thing, and then... Tell people about the thing.
You have to finish. I'm kind of breaking my own rule right now because I'm writing a book about something I'm sort of experiencing as I'm doing it. But even then, I'm like taking the time to kind of process for it. Like, but yeah, you cannot write the thing yet until it's like you can't write about an explosion while it's still exploding. Mm-hmm. You have to do it after the explosion's over. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think some people don't necessarily know when the explosion is over, so they're just like in it. It's like whenever you see a personal essay that goes viral because like it's clear the person in the situation is still in the emotion of it, and it's not necessarily because here's what if you don't give it some time and distance in therapy, you may have some perspectives on the situation that are, for lack of a better word, fucked. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go online and show your butt. When if you had just taken some time and distance.
Because the internet will keep it there forever.
Forever. And
that's all anyone will ever see.
The internet will be like, look, it's your butt.
Forever. You
showed it to us. Whereas if you'd just taken a couple of months and processed, you could have put on some pants. You know? It's but yeah, that's so like I have books to write once I'm done processing, and like I'm just performing and like, you know, put me on your show. Or don't, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy when I'm busy. And
same. And creating.
Yes, I'm happy when I'm busy. I love stand up. I love talking to people. I love doing stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming, by the way.
Of course.
When I was like, who do I just love to talk to? Like, you're at the top of the list.
Thank you. Listen, I love talking to you too. Like, and also you have great dogs. There's like lots of I know. This dog is asleep. All the dogs are just like, it's nap time. Everyone's being so loud.
I know, right? Like, I'm just gonna lay here and be loved. Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, that's cool. I mean, sorry. Speaking of, I'm sorry that I moved.
How dare you?
I know, I moved and he objected. Okay, so how do people find, like, where should they go to find you and connect with you?
Yeah, so I am on every social channel as my name. It's Kristin Chirico.
Yeah, we'll tag it and link it.
It's Kristin Chirico. I'm Kristin Chirico on Twitter, but like that's a sinking ship.
Okay, are you on the new one?
I'm on everything.
Are you on the new one?
Yeah, I'm on Threads.
Yeah.
Threads is also fast growing right now, so it's like gotta get into the thing. But I'm Kristin Chirico on every platform, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads, on Twitter.
In real life,
I remain Kristin Chirico. On YouTube, I am the Kitchen and Jorn Show.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with that name?
Okay, so we were doing a live stream once. We were playing a video game live, and it was me and Jen playing this game, and someone said like, "Oh, it's Kitchen and Jorn," and it made me laugh. And I also misread it. I misread it as Kitchen and Jorn. It was actually Kitchen and Jorn. But it made me laugh so hard. And then people just started pitching like other like bizarro iterations of our names. Like khaki and jeans. And like I could not stop laughing. And
That's so funny.
Then after that I was like, oh, we're just Kitchen and Jorn. That's just our names now.
Well, and it's funny too because I've never thought twice about it. Like when I know that's because I know that's the name of your show, it's like funny, and I'm like, yeah, of course that's the name of Kristen's show. Like it's such a funny, like it works.
Yeah, I'm Kitchen. That's Jorn. I mean, my name is Kristin and her name is Jen. But
yeah,
like it's just kind of.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. I don't know. It's easy to copyright because it's not Kristin. Yeah. Also, there is a Kristin and Jen who do stuff together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, we can't.
Kitchen and Jorn works.
We've lost custody of our names, so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think you know this by now because we've spent time together. I love Crocs.
Oh, I also love Crocs.
Yes.
We know I love Crocs. I listen.
Everything.
All you haters were making fun of me in 2017 when I did that Crocs video because you're like, Crocs are ugly. No, they're not. You were wrong. I love them.
So good. Okay, I love them too. I have so many pairs of Crocs.
Yeah.
It's obscene at this point. But on the Paula Peralta show, everyone gets a pair of Crocs that I pick out specially. They're hand-picked Crocs.
Oh my god, god.
So, let me give you your pair of Crocs today.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What? These are perfect.
I know, aren't they?
You nailed it. Oh my god, how did you know?
I don't know. I think this is my future of like my collaboration.
So good at this.
Thank you. I'm manifesting a Crocs collaboration, but I also think there's something where like I can actually like match the Crocs to the person.
Yes.
Like I think Crocs, listen, come on. Season 2. Let's make it a thing. Like, I think it's a thing where I'm going to do some Croc styling. Those are going to be my authentic videos that I post.
You should do Croc styling. You should do it with, like, the little, like, gems
Gibbets,
and stuff like that. Is that what they're called?
1000%. Yes,
Gibbets?
it is. Gibbets.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not into the lore. I just wear them on my feet. Wow. Oh my God. Thank you.
Do you love
so
them?
Much.
If you were a pair of Crocs, you would be pink sparkly Crocs.
I would be pink sparkly Crocs. Oh my god, I love. No, these are so cute. I'm not even saying this for camera. These are so cute. I'm so excited. This is the best.
They're so good. I hope they fit. You have very small feet.
I have like hobbit feet. I have like my feet. We're not gonna show my feet because like it's not that. It's not that kind of show.
You gotta pay extra for those.
But I have short square feet. Mm-hmm. So and I have high arches too. Oh. So like I have a podiatrist who I see who's just like I don't know. I had to pay $1,000 for insoles. Like I don't know. It's a mess. You do
have high arches.
I know. I have high arches and square feet. I've been inexplicable feet shape, which is why I like Crocs because Crocs are basically like shaped like thumbs, which is like what my feet are shaped like.
I posted a meme recently on Instagram that was like, "This is what your feet look like
in Crocs." Yeah, like two thumbs.
It's literally just two thumbs.
Literally just two thumbs. I'm already like, how can I get them on my feet?
Yes, get them on your feet. Do it.
These are so. I know. Maybe we are gonna get feet action. Find out. Yeah, perfect.
They're perfect. So cute.
These are perfect.
They are so cute.
Wow, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome.
It.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this conversation. I mean, I was like, should I prep her? And I was like, no, we're just going to go. We're just going to go. It's just like, I'm a professional.
She's a professional. I have lots of things. I have lots of shit to talk.
So much. I know, right? All the days. Same, honestly. Well, thank you so much for joining in this conversation. And
thank you.
You guys can go find Kristin. And if you love this, you already know what to do. Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your enemies. I don't care. Tell somebody.
Tell your dogs.
About the Paula. Tell your dogs about the Paula Peralta show. Sign them up on YouTube. Click subscribe. And everywhere else that you listen to podcasts. So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.